Good morning, everyone. Sometimes I struggle a little bit with my hair struggles too. I have wild hair. I mean, it's wild hair. It does what it wants. Uh, what do I start with? There's so many things one wants to start with, and I had a really great conversation yesterday with a good friend here now for a long, long time. And it started out like this. She calls, Daniela, I found something in my garden and it looks like this. I've never seen it before. Do you know what that is? And we started our conversation with trying to figure out what plant she found. And it could be the wild chives that I also have here. It could be something else. It seems like she's not sure. Okay, so I said, well, pull one out and see if there's a little bulb on the end, and then, or send me a picture, right, which she does too occasionally. She's a great gardener. She really is. She's got. Okay. Anyway, so we started out with that and talked about that for a big long time. So what do you do with that if it is that? And I'm telling her. Oh wow, she says that's really great. I must make sure. But what is that actually, right? Well, anyway. So then after that, I says, well, what else is going on in town? This and she said, oh, I have to tell you. Uh, there's a baby born, a little girl, 5 days ago. Now 6 days, I guess. It's today. And the mom had to go back to the hospital after they had already gotten home about a couple of days ago now, maybe, with post preeclampsia. That sounds yeah, odd. Preeclampsia after birth, and I I find it's always concerning when a mom has to go back. Just the mom, not the baby. The baby, of course, if that were to happen too, the mom has to go back to the hospital afterwards, right? Yes. So she says prayers needed. We need prayers, Daniela, I think it's one of the daughters of one of the firefighters at our fire department here in our area, and it's like, oh, yep, got to put those feelers out, make sure Mama gets the healing she needs, right? Gets home safely to the baby. In the meantime, Grandma and I think an aunt, they're there helping with the baby at home now, and of course then she telling me all she says, oh yeah, I cooked this and this, and we're going, wow, that sounds all really good, and we brought it up there, for them. Again, right? That's the support, right? That you give, prayer in the spirit, spiritual. Then the support, say with food, and the physical. And she says, oh, they were so happy to see all the food that we brought, this and that, right? Yeah. Had to work together to keep that unity going. Right? Where there is help needed, where there is concern, right? Yes, over the mama, right? Who's just given birth to another baby. By the way, a very interesting story. About a year and a half ago, a little more, maybe a year and a half ago, um, that couple adopted a child because they couldn't have, or hadn't been successful to have their own. And I think about 9 months later, she ended up getting pregnant. Isn't that something? Yeah. Anyway, so a wonderful story there. And then, okay, so that was my conversation with my friend. Oh, how uplifting. Then we went back into gardening where she says, oh, I got two big old bags of mustard greens. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but mustard greens are just one of the most amazing things to eat. I like to just eat it raw. I substitute it with lettuce because I'm not a big fan of most lettuce out there. It's so non-tasting, and it's very difficult to grow because of all the slugs and snails we have, which I'm not going to kill with any kind of poison or whatever. It's just they're here. So what do? You grow other things that are more stable in this environment, right? Who have, okay. But mustard greens, well, they grow at a time. It's a winter crop. And you can also plant the seeds late in the fall, and they'll come up in the spring. So you don't have to do anything. Just go and watch. Oh, yeah, look. Oh, my mustard greens are growing. Yes. And so she's got all that mustard greens, and she tells me all about it and what she's going to do with all of them. And of course, she always gives many of her vegetables away as well. So just had this really great conversation. Yeah. So, my question to people, what are your conversations like with others? Do you enjoy? Okay, what do you enjoy? And where do the conversations go? When you're done with the conversation, say on the phone or with a person that you have one face to face, how do you feel afterwards? Good? Was it a conversation on the side of goodness, where afterwards you feel lifted up? Or you feel guilty after the conversation? Feel like you just either pulled someone into it, or you being pulled into what? Gossiping, slandering, discuss rumors, this and that, about other people, how bad things are, this and that. There's one thing I really appreciate about the internet, and that is the little videos that I see of people all around the world, doesn't matter where it's at. Countries we're supposed to not like this, not supposed to not like this, and have a beef with. Well, I don't have a beef with anybody. Okay? I don't. Just wait until, aha, right there. Well, I don't. And I'd rather go and look for the good. What did I say in the other video? If there is something that's negative, or someone wants to give you the idea, you have to look at that as negative. Infuse it with good. Find the good. Yes? And so many things, so many people around the world, not just now, that's been going on for thousands of years. Good people, doing good things. Really, somehow, by nature, are doing what? Following God's guidance. Even if they have don't even acknowledge God in a way. Which brings me to something else. If I remember it, about another couple that I have known for a long time in California, Helen and Alan. Now, I named them. I know, Helen and Alan. Why don't I say Alan and Helen? Because Helen and Alan sounds more natural. Okay, all right. Okay. If I were a guy and I were friends with them, I probably would say what? Alan and Helen. But I was much closer to his wife, to Alan's wife, yes, okay, Helen, than I was to her husband. Okay, so of course it's Helen and Alan, right? Yes, okay, makes sense. It's proper. Okay. So let's go on here. We're in the first book of Chronicles. Uh, 26. And I'm in my Living Bible again. Ugh. I'm not even going to go into. See, I don't want to talk about that. I watched something else and I had to turn it off and go, no, I don't want to be a part of this. Can't be a part of that. No desire. Okay, 26. The temple guards were from the Asap division of the Korah clan. The captain of the guard was Meshelemiah, the son of Corey. His sergeants were his sons. Zechariah the oldest, Jediael the second, Zebadiah the third, Yathniel the fourth, Elam the fifth, Yehohanan the sixth, Eliohoenai. Oh, see, they're helping me here say that. That's one thing I like about this Bible. They'll help me a little bit out with the names. The seventh. The sons of Obed Edom were also appointed as temple guards, and he had a lot of them. I wonder, is this the same Obed Edom that held the ark for a while at his house and his family was blessed? He had a lot of sons. Okay, so they also were appointed as temple guards. Shemaiah the oldest, Jehozabad the second, Joah the third, Sakar the fourth, Nethanel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh, Peuletai the eighth. What a blessing God gave him with all those sons. Wow. Oh, is this the blessings that he okay, I'm just saying. Shemaiah's sons were all outstanding men and had positions of great authority in their clan. Their names were Otni, Rephael, Obed, Elzabad. So I want to go just quickly back to, okay, I'm a woman. I have read the book of Genesis, okay? I know some of the words that Jesus said about all that. And of course, in the divine principle, it's very clear that a man has one woman, one only, and no more than that. Of course, in today's time, that goes the other way around as well. Just saying, okay? It's okay. So again, I find it interesting on how, in a way, these little tidbits about God, this and that, and his blessings are thrown in there. And don't get me wrong now, okay? It's great to have all these sons. That's wonderful. But how many women, though? It doesn't say. But one has to ask because of the times. Right? Yes? Okay. So, that's great. Oh, look, God blessed him with all these sons. Really? Did he really? If they were all from one woman, I agree. But it doesn't tell us here. So we're missing some information that I feel is really vital to, is that true? That these blessings came from God? Or was Obed Edom just really busy with many wives? Just wondering. Yes? You can't stop the cycle of life if it, right? I mean, you are involved in a love act, and most likely someone's going to get pregnant, right? Yeah, okay, I'm just saying, right? If all goes well, the more wives you have, the more that will go well, right? Yes. What did the ones that also followed God? What one of them was Abraham, I think. Struggle with, because they only had one wife. That's yeah, and then yes, and then what happened? So I brought up this couple, adopted a child, and then guess what happened after that? Okay, just saying. Wow, interesting. I started out with that phone call, that story. And what are we reading here? And what comes to my mind? Yes, again, throw God in there real quick. Oh yeah, to make what okay? Because they kind of knew. All right, just saying. Yes. Why do people want to keep on going with certain things? Because it suits them, though they full well know that's not God's direction for us all when it comes to blessings. Okay, having a lot of sons, because that's great. It's interesting. I saw another one where there are 10 children. This married couple had 10 children in 10 years. 9 of them were boys and 1 girl. So it's possible, right? Yes. And people had some of the comments, it's like, well, that's too many kids. Why would you have this many kids? How rude. Absolutely rude. And these 10 children didn't look like they were starving or in ratty clothes. Or actually, the picture where it was taken, the surroundings looked really nice, and looks like they're doing just fine with their 10 children. Yes, I'm just saying. So wonderful. I think that's wonderful. That's amazing. I have to admire that woman. 10 children in 10 years. That is amazing. How did she do it? That is that is a God-given blessing right there. And this woman is a God-given blessing to the whole world. That's all I have to say about it. 9 boys, 1 girl. That's so great. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay. Their names: Othni, Raphael, Obed, El-Sabbat. Their brave brothers Elihu and Semachiah were also very able men. Okay, in what? All of these sons and grandsons of Obed Edom, all 62 of them, okay, with the grandsons, were outstanding men who were particularly well qualified for their work. Meshelemiah's 18 sons and brothers, 2, were real leaders. Hosah, one of the Merari group, appointed Shimri as the leader among his sons, though he was not the oldest. The names of some of his other sons were Hilkiah the second, Tebaliah the third, and Zechariah the fourth. Well, who's the first? If that one wasn't the first or the oldest, may have passed away, may have not made it, died in battle. Hosah's sons and brothers numbered 13 in all. Now they included the brothers here too. The divisions of the temple guards were named after the leaders. Like the other Levites, they were responsible to minister at the temple. They were assigned guard duty at the various gates without regard to the reputation of their families, for it was all done by coin toss. Yes. Why did they need all them guards? Was not in people not because of all the gold and stuff that was in there? I don't know. Why did they need all them guards? I have no idea. It doesn't say. The responsibility of the east gate went to Shelemiah and his group, of the north gate to his son Zechariah, a man of unusual wisdom, for the south gate to and his group, of the north gate to his son Zechariah, a man of unusual wisdom. Of the south gate to Obed Edom and his group, his sons were given charge of the storehouses. Of the west gate and the Shalecheth gate on the upper road to Shuppim and Hosah. Wait a minute. And his group, his sons, were given charge of the storehouses. They had storehouses there too? For what? All the burn offerings and so they had to be guarded too. That is interesting. 6 guards were assigned daily to the east gate, 4 to the north gate, 4 to the south gate, and 2 at each of the storehouses. 6 guards were assigned each day to the west gate, 4 to the upper road, and 2 to the nearby areas. The temple guards were chosen from the clans of Korah and Merari. Other Levites, led by Ahijah, were given the care of the gifts brought to the Lord and placed in the temple treasury. Okay. What would God need all this stuff for? The house has something to say about that. These men of the Ladan subclan from the clan of Gershom included Setham and Joel, the sons of Yehieli. Ah. Shebuel, son of Gershom and grandson of Moses, was the chief officer of the treasury. He was in charge of the divisions named after Amram, Ishar, Hebron, and Uziel. The line of descendants from Eliezer went through Rehabiah, Yeshaiah, Joram, Sikri, and Shelomoth. Shelomoth and his brothers were appointed to care for the gifts given to the Lord by King David and the other leaders of the nation, such as the officers and generals of the army. The loot what? The loot the loot was given to God to make it okay. Yes, it just doesn't give us enough. It's you get what they want. I'm not okay. Whatever. Just keep reading, Daniela. It's conditioned. Yes, I know. For these men dedicated their war loot to support the operating expenses of the temple. Oh yeah, I bet you God was real happy about that. Yeah. No. Gotcha. Hey. I wonder what percentage that they gave to the temple and what they kept for themselves. That'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it? Maybe we'll find out. Shalamot and his brothers were also responsible for the care of the items dedicated to the Lord by Samuel the prophet. Saul the son of Kish, Abner the son of Ner, Joab the son of Zeruiah, and anyone else of distinction who brought gifts to the Lord. Samuel was in this as well, the prophet. Now see, that disappoints me now. Ew. Samuel. I've talked to you before. It's all right. Well, it's not all right. We'll fix it. We'll restore it. Hananiah and his sons from the subclan of Ishar were appointed public administrators and judges. Hashabiah and 1,700 of his clansmen from Hebron, all outstanding men, were placed in charge of the territory of Israel west of the Jordan River. They were responsible for the religious affairs and public administration of that area. What does that exactly mean? Why would you need 1,700 plus people in charge of religious and public affairs in one little particular territory? Maybe somebody knows. 2,700 outstanding men of the clan of the Hebronites under outstanding men. What does that mean? They're what? How are they outstanding? In what way? It doesn't say here. I must assume, okay, I'm assuming, it's in military affairs. Yes? Fighting. Subduing. Forcing. Coercing. Threatening. The rest of the people? I don't know. It doesn't say. It's being left up to me to wonder why these people were all there in that capacity and for what. 2,700 outstanding men of the clan of Hebronites under the supervision of Jeriah. You are going to have to wait. You could have gone out earlier. You decided not to get off that bed. Good morning, Bo. You want to go out? Okay, you'll have to wait. I'm almost done here. You want to talk to me? Well, can you wait? Why are you shaking your head? What's wrong with your ears? All right. Go on. Go downstairs. Go lay down. I'll be down when I'm done. I'm not getting up right now. He's leaving. Okay. 2,700 outstanding men of the clan of Hebronites under the supervision of Jeriah were appointed to control the religious and public affairs of the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Oh. These men, all of whom had excellent qualifications, were appointed on the basis of their ancestry and ability at Jazer in Gilead in the 40th year of King David's reign. Huh. All right. Well, they were there to defend. It says, what does it say? It doesn't say to defend the borders. It said what? Religious and public affairs. That's what it says. Okay. Well, maybe they meant something else at that time. That's the end of 26. So, to get back, see, I made myself a note, to Helen and Alan, and the give and take that we choose to have, okay? Knowing or not knowing, that some people, I do believe that, absolutely, that, well, it's natural in all people, again, right? Yes? Just depends on where we want to go with it and how much we want to be, yes, the heretic and destroyer of our own self. Oh, not bad. There. Helen and Alan, yeah. Been together for a long time. I met them, we met them, our family met them. They lived on the same block as we did in Berkeley, California. They had no children, and there was a reason for that, so don't need to get into that, but they had no children, and they lived in this beautiful little house. And when you walked into that house, it's like, wow, that's interesting. You could tell that the main part that was used in their home was the kitchen. Not that the other parts weren't used, but the kitchen was it. Yeah. And we had some really wonderful, beautiful conversations, Helen and I. Alan too, but Helen and I. And early on, Helen let me know that, look, we're atheists. So, yeah. But she didn't mind me talking about God, this and that. But she says, we're atheists. They were very, very conscientious about their surroundings, on how and in the way that they, living in the city, reused everything, recycled, bought very little that needed recycling, this and that. But there's one thing also that I saw was their backyard. And their backyard was laden with plants, edibles, flowers. They even had a tiny little chicken coop for their chickens, which the 3 or 4 that they had, it was beautiful space for the chicken. It was very clean, the chickens were very happy. You could tell this and that. And but their garden was the most lush garden I've ever seen in a city. I've never even seen lush gardens out here like that. Mine was never like that. I mean, my garden always is great. When I start one, I always have an amazing harvest. The plants give way more than one expects, this and that, okay? The ones that make it. I'm not ever successful in everything that I grow. And I remember walking around after she had told me, and I walked around and I turned around to her and said, your garden is all about God. Even though you're not, do not profess to God, as others do, pray, this, now, or have a belief in God. God's everywhere here. That's what I see. Everywhere. God was everywhere in that house, that relationship this couple had with each other, and in their garden. It was all there. So here's someone who says, oh, don't believe in God. Yet they were surrounded by God's love. You know why? Because their love was all there for the principles of creation. It was all there with integrity and sincerity. Yes. So they chose not to have this fighting attitude when people are believers in God and all that, fighting somebody else over what the right thing is or this or that. Yes? And chose to create their own Garden of Eden. You think that them letting me know, well, we're atheists, so, but as I said, they weren't against me talking about God. I told her that out in the garden. She kind of looked at me and smiled, Didn't go on the defensive or offense or whatever over what I said. And we were friends the whole time. We knew each other there. And when I would go back and visit, that was one of the people I would go and visit. Invited me over for, yes? For dinner. Who would not love their food? And, yeah. You see? Good reminder. Yes? Yes. Definitely a good reminder. So should everybody be that way? Just saying. What is your give and take with people? When you have it? What are your conversations about? I didn't mind Helen telling me, well, we're atheists. Yeah. But Helen didn't mind when I would, in my exuberance for things, include God. Okay? In my everyday life. That was no problem. So neither of us let our own way of believing, living in belief, stop that from acknowledging what we have very much in common. Yes? The love for the principles of creation. Yes? Just saying. So, that's it. That's all I want to share. I got things to do. Bo went and he laid down again, says, I'm going to be patient. I'm telling you, that dog is not just a dog. That's an amazing dog. Such an amazing dog. We have amazing animals. We really do. Oh, so blessed. Anyway, so I got to get going. It's really actually just 7:30. I'm looking at the clock right now. Yes, I do have one that's not hooked up on anything. Oh, it is battery operated, so that I can help when Sissy has to go to work, this and that. I like to get up so she can lay there a few more minutes, waking up. This and I go downstairs and start the coffee. Then I'll go get her some coffee, right? Yes? Yeah, I like doing that. So I need to know a little bit about the time. But I don't change it. That summertime stuff again. I don't change it. I just like to know the actual time. And so I'm going to let these guys out. They can go for their run. They were gone for 8 hours the other day. And here I am going, so last thing, they were gone from 8 o'clock in the morning. And by 3:30, they were still not here and hadn't had breakfast. I'm going, oh, Sissy's going to come home soon. And I wasn't worried, okay? They'll be home. Well, they're going to be home or they're not. Hey, what are you going to do, right? Yes? And but I knew that when Sissy would come home and Bo wasn't here, and then I have to tell her that they've been gone since 8 o'clock this morning, she would really start to worry. Okay, well, she's different than I am, and her dog is. This is a relationship that's really amazing. Yeah. Well, anyway, not my story to tell. Anywho, so I went out there at 1 o'clock. I started going out there and hollering and whistling for them every so often, right? And nope, nothing. 3:30 comes around, and I went out one more time, and I'm going, well, it is what it is, and they'll be home when they're going to be home, and I wanted to avoid the worry for my sister-in-law. Here she comes, driving down the road, and guess who shows up at the exact same time? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she said, oh, here you are. You got. I said, they just got home. Told her how long they'd been gone. She said, well, I'm sure glad they came home. I would have worried this and that, right? And I looked at Bo and I'm going, so, I said, you could not have been that far off. So you heard me hollering. Whatever you guys were into, doing whatever, you could hear me. Then he hears her car. He knows the sound of her car and he knows the sound of her truck. Believe me, he won't miss that. And he heard that car coming down the road, and guess who came home? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, look. I was just happy they were back. I was happy they were back so that I didn't have to explain to my sister-in-law, well, they were this and that, and she would have to worry then until they would get back and already have what? Uh, the beginning of a not so happy afternoon. Late afternoon and evening, right? Yes? So, there you go. Yeah, that dog. Oh, it's just Daniela home. I'm not worried about her, right? Or yeah, she'll be fine. She doesn't worry about us like other people do, or whatever. Not important enough. He hears the car coming down the road, and here he comes with the other two. Of course, the other two won't come back unless he does. Oh my gosh. What a crew we have here. Well, anyway, that's the end of it. Gotta go. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. Well, talk to you another time.